Hello and welcome to The Court Jester, the podcast that takes you on a wild ride through the sauciest stories of the Middle Ages. I am Cleopatra, medievalist, storyteller, and your host. Today's story is about a priest and a woman and a few other characters and a few other household items. And before I tell you more about them, I'm going to give you a fair warning. This is a comic story written several centuries ago when humor was different, life was brutal, and people's sensibilities were nothing like today. So expect genders to be binary and be prepared for misogyny, ableism, and many other absurd and disturbing things. If you're not in the mood for that, save this episode for another time. If, however, you can laugh at the outrageous and understand the past without endorsing it, welcome, friend, and let's go! Here is a story wholly new from a person who tells things that aren't true. On a Tuesday, it came to be that a priest from around Lardy went to Étampes, where he was chasing after a skirt, after a woman. His quest was going to hurt him, as you'll hear me soon explain, but first I need to tell you more about that woman, who was well-mannered and quite pretty. She was the one that summoned him, and told him that her husband, because there was a husband, would be out of town that day, and she told him just when she would be free. And I need not say more. The priest was at the woman's door well before lunch. Such was his zeal and hassle to see her. And was he welcomed? The servants had prepared 20 peppered pasties, meat in a pot, and a good, clear, wholesome wine. A hot bath was set out, ready and steaming, but just then some demon brought the woman's husband back home. He tried to go in, but the door was shut, locked and bolted. "Open up," he said, "and quickly. Why have you locked the gate on me?" The wife had no choice but to open, but she was not pleased at all. Before opening the door, she had the pasties covered with a towel, and then she had to come up with a place to hide the priest, who was getting very nervous. She sent him to get in a large wicker basket by the gate, and in he climbed, but in his haste he left the cape on the ground. As soon as the priest was hidden, she opened the door and let her husband in. But as he looked around the room and saw the bathtub, and his wife naked in it, all his suspicions for the delay were gone. She was obviously late because she was having a bath. Meanwhile, the priest was so terrified that he was shaking, and shaking hard enough to make his wicker basket tumble to the ground. The others were too busy settling the husband in and didn't turn around to look, so when he saw that his fall had gone unnoticed, he decided to wing it. So he walked in proudly. "May God dwell in this house," he said. "I've come to return your wicker basket." The husband was rather surprised to see the priest out of the blue, but his wife was very quick to let him know that this was true. He was indeed returning the wicker basket that he had borrowed earlier, and to make sure she was believed, she told her husband, "See his cape on the floor? This is the cape he left behind as surety that he would bring my wicker basket back." "Well, shame on you, woman," said the husband, "to think you'd ask for surety for giving away a wicker basket." "Lady," said the priest, who figured out he's in the clear, "can I please have back my black cape, because I need to be on my way, and since I'm here I'm going to take away my towel and my pasties that are hiding under it." "Father," said the woman, "I cannot think what haste you're in. Do sit with us. Spend the evening. We have enough food for everyone. My husband will be honored. It's no bother." "Well, if you're sure." Of course, said the husband. So the priest stayed, and they all went to eat their fill. A table was placed on 2 props, and a pair of wooden candlesticks were placed on top with silver candles, and they were very lovely and very elegant. And then they cut the pasties up, and the priest and the woman made an effort to pour lots of wine to the husband until they've given him so much to drink and so many peppered pies that the master of the house, feeling the wine in his head, started boasting. Just last morning, he said, he had 1,000 pounds stashed away somewhere on the castle grounds. Then he eloquently undertook to speak Latin, German, and 2 Dutch dialects, boasted of his largesse, and next he told one of his wild, youthful stunts. The wine had made him just as big as the Roi de France. And then the priest in his turn said, "He is strong enough to lift 3 people all at once." "You're talking marvels," said the husband. "It can't be true, father, no way." "I bet I can," said the priest, "and I won't lose." "What do you bet?" said the husband. "I bet a goose." "It is on. The bargain has been set," and so the priest went to the husband and had him stretch out, face down on the floor. Then he went out to look for the maid, and told her to lie on top of him. Then, as a favor to the wife, he placed her on top of everyone else, lifted her skirts, and drove himself right through the hole between her thighs. You know the one right below her abdomen? That's where he put his own pet ferret. Let's now turn to the husband again, who was in great discomfort and trying hard to get up, because you see, as the priest humped up and down and pushed, he scooshed all the food and wine in the husband's belly, and the man could not breathe. But once the priest was sated and he had wrung out both his bells, he told the husband, "Get up. I was wrong. I could not lift all 3 of you after all, and I tried so hard that even my balls are sweating." "You're not so strong then," said the woman. "Pay us the goose. You lost the bet. Pay up." "Lady, be patient," said the priest, "and you'll have a fat goose by tomorrow, I dare say." Her husband cuts in, "That's all fine. You go with God's grace. I'm just grateful for the load you took off my back." And the priest left, having his belly full and some other parts of him empty. But here's the message that I want you to take from this fabliau. Some women are really in the know, and those who are very clever. Skilled deceivers, the lot of them, like the one in our story who made a cuckold of her husband literally behind his back. And that, my friends, was the tale of the priest and the woman. I do hope it made you smile, and if you enjoyed the ride, please subscribe to The Court Jester on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts, and spread the word. Tell your friends and tell your enemies to listen to this at work without headphones. For those curious about my sources, check out the show notes for links to the translations and all things jestery. You will also find our social media where we can keep the conversation going. And lastly, if you'd like to support the podcast and help me get a sense of achievement, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. You will get access to bonus episodes and some delightful extras in return for your generosity. This month's special is a 15th century story that could be a fabliau and comes with pictures. On that note, let me give a shout out to the new patrons. Hello and welcome to Danette Cartwright and Keith Solomon, and welcome back to Joseph Oswald. May your days be filled with laughter, your goblet never empty, and your medieval memes forever historically questionable. Thank you all for listening. Until next time.